Greetings, welcome to Abandon Hope. Oh! As usual, we'll start by just chatting with the people, seeing what's going on with the humans in the chat. How you doing, chat humans? In fact, I have a better view we can switch to for a moment while we're chatting up the human demographic. Thank you, Dutine Albine, for your fucking $1.99. It is appreciatized.
As
good
usual,
sir.
We'll start by just chatting with the people.
Thank you
seeing
kindly.
What's going on with the humans in the chat? How you doing, chat humans? In fact, I have a better
desktop shit.
a better view we can switch to for a moment while
Goddamn fucking bullshit. And you made me start that, you fucker. YouTube's a piece of shit, dude. I was trying to start streaming this, and it's like, you gotta open the preview stream before we'll let you stream. I'm like, alright, fine, I'll open the preview stream. And I open the preview stream, and it starts fucking... It plays with volume? What the fuck? Boo. Boo, YouTube. Hell no. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I hear the audio. Ooh, echo. Spooky echo. You guys are a little behind the times. You know, you motherfuckers. Is smoking a sin? I hope so. Is stream starting or ending? I don't know. Very philosophical question. TJ blaming YouTube for his problems again. YouTube is the source of many of my problems, so it's fair to do. Someone needs to make TJ Kirk 2 the new batch. Dun 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 dun. Audio shit is hard, man. Yeah, Jay Darky knows what I'm fucking going through. He knows. This was YouTube's fault, though. It made me start the fucking preview stream, and then it plays it with volume. It's like, fuck you, cocksuckers. It's like, oh, we can't sync this properly unless you fucking start the preview stream. Like, when is it's never been a problem before? All of a sudden, it's a fucking problem. So, while we're getting to know each other here, figured I'd oh, you know what? God damn it. I probably shouldn't be on this screen because if someone sends in a Streamlabs, I'm not going to see it unless I'm on this screen because I haven't set that one up for Streamlabs yet. Or did I? Hold on, let me check. No, I didn't. Wait, maybe I did. Maybe I did. Let me check this. Let me check this shit out, you faggots. Give me 1 second. TJ, upload some other shit too instead of just clips from this. Well, I just my last video I uploaded was something else. You know? So, I mean, I did the top 10 or 10 more what the fuck Bible verses. So don't act like I haven't uploaded anything else. Don't act like I haven't uploaded anything else, sir. Don't defy me. Let's see. Sorry. Takes a second to log into Streamlabs. Don't feed TJ after midnight. Feed me anytime you want. It's okay with me. Let me see if these alerts are working here. Oh, yeah, they work. Okay, cool. I had a dream that you started streaming, and when I check, you actually are streaming. I'm a prophet. Nice. Cool. I didn't get a notification for that. I got to chat that out. I've been waiting for you to finally... What? Whatever. Who cares? T-Gay, the amazing gaytheist. TJ, I listened to Holywood on acid, and it was even more awesome. Cool. Do the N-word echo, please, TJ. Well, who knows? Maybe I'll have occasion to do it tonight. You never know. Just depends on what stories we got. When TJ's gonna fuck with Dave Rubin. If you have a Dave Rubin clip that you want me to take a look at, just send it to me. You can DM it to me on Twitter. You can, I don't care where you send it, honestly. You can get it to me any number of ways. Facebook, my Facebook page and my Twitter are probably the most likely places I'll see it. Why am I on a box of cereal? I don't know. Maybe I'm missing. Oh, wait, that's milk cartons. I'm not sure. I wish TJ was my dad. No, you don't, because I would just be constantly disappointed in you. TJ, it's almost 3 in the morning and I'm hungry. What should I do? Eat my nuts, bitch. LeBron and Los Angeles Lakers. Take that, Cleveland. Whatever. I don't really give a shit. Whoa, it's going so fast. Thoughts on TanaCon? I don't know what that is. Are you gay if you blow a guy, then beat him up? No. If you engage in violence after the sex, it negates the sex. You know, as long as you react to your own latent homosexuality with displays of heterosexual aggression, I think that it counteracts. At best, you're bi-curious at that point. You know? Much love, TJ. Much love. Will an ounce of mouthwash even do anything? I don't know. What do you mean? Do anything in terms of what? It'll fight gingivitis. That's what it'll do. It'll fight the gingivitis. Is Jordan Peterson gay? I wish he was, because then I could ride his massive, powerful staff of wisdom, you know? But I can't. I can't. I should cover TanaCon. Well, I don't know what TanaCon is, so I can't. Can't do it. Don't know it. Sorry. Would you shave your head if someone paid you enough? Why don't you make me an offer? Favorite Alice Cooper song or album? Favorite Alice Cooper. I don't. My favorite Alice Cooper song is "Welcome to My Nightmare." I don't know about album. I can't believe you haven't heard of TanaCon. Well, I haven't. Da 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 da. Bask in my ignorance. I know not the TanaCon. I have not seen the light. I have not seen the light of TanaCon, dude. Anime Night gives me $1. Thank you, Anime Night. You, sir, are a true gentleman. Have you seen Hereditary? I always hate to disappoint a paying question, but no, and I also don't know what it is. You'll find that I am ignorant of most things. Can I fondle your segments at the LA meetup? You can try. Yeah, good thing, Skeptical Jesus. Paul is not joining tonight as far as I know, unless he just wanders in here, which he's free to do. Smoking some tobacco. What gets you through the day when SJW idiocy becomes too much to bear? I don't know. I mean, like, it doesn't even, that shit doesn't even faze me anymore, which maybe that's a bad thing. Segments on parade. Yeah. I love you, TJ. My support is yours forever. Well, probably not forever, just as long as you're alive. Don't murder me. Why not? It sounds so good on paper. It's like communism. It's like, ooh, murdering Daniel L. Ooh, yeah, I don't know. Sounds like there's a lot of fringe benefits. What's up with the conservatives and talk of civil war? As far as I can tell, it all stems from Sarah Fuckabee getting kicked out of that Red Hen restaurant. They're like, the age of civility is over. Soon the war will begin. Let the streets run red with the blood of cucks. We're not going to take this shit anymore. Bible or Quran, which burns better? I don't know. They burned about the same. And the God Delusion also burned about the same. The 3 books that I've ever burned, they all burned roughly about as well as each other, from what I can remember. You know what? I think the Quran might have had a little more trouble getting started. So, TJ, I'm tripping balls. Why are you so pretty? I think that you just answered your own question. I'm so pretty because you're tripping balls. So right now I look like, fucking Ganesha, and there's like an oral pattern around my face, and you can hear sitar music playing and shit. It seems very divine. I seem like a fucking great guru, You're staring into my big blue eyes and just seeing the depths of my soul. It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a fucking beautiful thing. White Republicans, the most oppressed of all people. Yeah, dude, they got it bad. A lot of groups have it rough in America, but fucking white Republicans, dude. I'm glad I'm not one. Who won the latest Portland Roids? The viewing audience. That's who always wins those things. Anyone who actually participated is a faggot. Not to be offensive, but I am bisexual, so I can say faggot. So, but you straighties out there, That's our word. That's our word, bitch. Am I into anime? No. How do you make yourself look so beautiful? I just exist, It's just natural fucking beauty is what it is. Natural beauty. Yep. TJ, you're too fat, Saz. Damn, I was feeling all high and mighty from those beauty comments, and then you just come along and say something mean. I mean, what's up with that, huh? What's going so wrong in your life that you got to take it out on me? Fuck, marry, kill, moppy puppy, kawaii cost, creamage. Can that just be a kill, kill, kill? That'd be better for me. Let's just kill them all. Looks like I've had some super chats coming in that aren't coming up on the screen for some reason, but I'll just read them here. Hope is harmony, a just heart moving toward the light. Despair is hope's polar opposite. It is messy and confusing. It swallows up love, hatred, and everything else. Only despair's unpredictability can save you from a boring future. Abandon hope. Okay, very poetic. Thank you for the $10.01 Canadian. Someone else said, TJ, being racist doesn't cure small dick syndrome. Well, thank you for the dollar. I don't really consider myself necessarily racist, but if I were, it would definitely be in an attempt to make my dick bigger. TJ deserves money. Give him your money. See, there's someone who's talking sense right there. No, TJ, you are always pretty. Wow, thank you. That was Jay Darkey, who is a total queer. Here's my participation. Yif me, faggy daddy. What are you rambling about, good sir? I think we'll get some Abandon Hope actually started here in a minute. But for now, let's just see if my fucking skeletal friend can take me higher. When is the next 12 Rules chapter coming? They're good. Very soon. What is your opinion on Sargon's left-leaning ideas? I don't know what they are. I'd have to talk to him, or at least you could send me a video that explains what the fuck you're talking about, and you can send that to, once again, to Twitter, to Facebook. I don't care. You got anything you want me to see? Put it in front of me. You know, people are always. All these people who are always coming around asking me shit, like random, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? What do you think of this? Why don't you send that shit to me? You know? Make it, instead of asking the question of what I think of something and just assuming I've stumbled on it, send it my way. You know what I'm saying? TJ never reads my shit. I just prove you wrong. God damn it, every time I try to take a hit, someone else fucking gives me money. What's up with this? How are you supposed to navigate any political landscape when you don't care about sides but specific arguments? I don't know. I mean, I don't really feel like I'm not navigating anywhere. I'm just on the fucking water, just, you know, going wherever it takes me. I mean, I have my own arguments and the things that I believe in and shit, but for the most part, I'm just a leaf on the breeze, you know, just floating wherever the wind takes it. More like a rock in a cave. Stay away from me. Let TJ spend money, people. Goddamn. Yeah, let me spend some money. What fast food did you eat after the fast food? DFF, you gluttonous beast. I mean, I'm not able to. There's not much fast food fare that I can actually eat because I'm on the fucking stupid keto diet. So, like, I could go get a burger, but I couldn't eat the bun. Fuck that. I don't want to do that. The bun is integral to the goddamn burger. TJ, I'm hitting this with you. Good. Show Carl's Jr. Mex ass from volleyball. Cool. Yeah, I mean, that was a good commercial. Am I smoking crack? Yes, this is crack I'm smoking. How did you know? No, this is legal tobacco sanctioned by the United States government. Got any interesting psychedelic stories? I've told them a billion times, but, you know, the one I tell people the most is that I was lying on the floor between the bathroom and my bedroom at the time. And I was tripping on like 3 or 4 tabs of acid. And everything was fucking crazy. And I just remember feeling that I wanted nothing more than for a giant flaming skeleton hand to reach out through the shower and grab me and then pull me through the shower, which has now become a portal to the depths of hell. And I'm like, yes, in hell I can be free. And I sat there for about 2 hours just fucking taunting hell to take me. Like, please, let me be in hell now. Yes, bring me to hell. I want to feel the fire. So that was a weird little stint of acid trip, you know? TJ is fat Kurt Cobain. I'm like a fat Kurt Cobain who can't sing or play guitar. That's what I'm like. I love you, TJ. I love you too. Before we get started on the actual show part of the show, thought I'd tell you guys a little fucking story. So I'm outside earlier. Salvador, my dog, who's a total fucking retard, is out there with me. And, he's like obsessing about something. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And then I fucking see that he's tormenting this poor little frog, man. Hey, TJ, do you think pregnancy is a bit cruel for babies as you're keeping them in solitary confinement for 9 months? Wow. Yeah, I think you're on to something. So I see Salvador is tormenting this poor little frog and shit. I'm like, Salvador, leave that frog alone, dude. Leave him alone. Kind of starts looking at him again. No! Leave him alone, Sal. And so I bring him inside so he doesn't torture the poor frog anymore. And later on, we come back outside, and I'm smoking a cigarette, and he's doing whatever he's doing, which I found out what it was because as I turn around to look at him, he's standing on the back stoop, and he just drops the frog's lifeless body. Thanks, TJ. The fast food DFF was fun to watch. Thank you. Drops the frog's lifeless goddamn body onto the fucking ground in front of me. The frog is just like... And I'm like, oh shit, dude. I poke it, not with my finger because I don't want to touch it, but I poke it with something like, hey, froggy, you okay there? And nope, fucking dead. And I'm just like, man, Salvador, you're a fucking murderer, dude. You're a fucking frog murdering piece of shit. And then he's trying to fucking get its corpse and... Like, I try to usher him inside, and he tries to bring it in. I'm like, no, I don't want no fucking dead frog brought in the house so you could tear it apart in here. So finally, I got him inside. And I went to my old studio in the garage that we had to stop using because it just flooded too much when it rains heavily here, which is often. And so I fucking... go find some of that sound foam that used to be on the wall behind me, and I use it to go pick up the frog's dead body. He's laying there like this. The first time I grab him, I drop him accidentally, and he kind of like lands back on his front, and he kind of looks okay, you know, except he's just not moving. I'm like, hey, little frog, you sure you ain't alive, man? Come on. Do something, froggy. You're okay. You weren't killed. Nope, just sits there still. So I grab him up again, throw him in the fucking trash where his dead little ass belongs. But then later, when I went to take the trash out, I remembered, take it to the curb. I remember that dead frog body is in there, so... As I realize this is kind of like a funeral procession. I'm like this frog's pallbearer right now. So I sang him a rousing hymnal, or I don't know if it's a hymn, but, it's one of them, like, old slave songs or some shit. I was like, swing low, sweet chariot. I had to do something for the frog, man. Had to do something for it. But anyway, that's been my night. My dog killed fucking Pepe, dude. It's no good. No good. Frogs suffer too much in life. It's just the way of the world. Shit story. I'm sorry, man. I didn't say it was a good story. I just said it's the story of tonight. It's something that just happened. It's fresh in my mind. Tomorrow I will have forgotten it, so I might as well tell you now. Thank you, Rick Capone, for the $2. Let's go ahead and start looking at some actual abandoned hope type shit. Rick Capone donated $2 through the super chat. Fuck you. My heart is evil and cruel. Do not lie, sir. Mother of 10-year-old who came out as gay weeks before death, charged with his murder and torture. Start with an uplifting story here on Abandoned Hope. Is your kid born a butt-fucking faggot? Good news. Try new, beat 'em to death. There you go. Star Trek Discovery review win. Nava! I don't know. I haven't watched it yet. Sorry. I can't believe... I'm trying to talk about a 10-year-old who was beaten to death by his parents just for being gay. And all you want to talk about is fucking Star Trek Discovery. Wow. How insensitive, sir. How insensitive. The mother of 10-year-old Lancaster, California boy who came out as gay weeks before his death has been arrested and charged with his murder. Heather Maxine Barron, 28, was charged with 1 count of murder and 1 count of torture for the death of her son, Anthony Avalos, by the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office on Friday, according to a press release by the office. She also faces 1 count of child abuse. Barron's bail was set to $2 million. Online jail records show. Her boyfriend, Kareem Leva, 32, was arrested and charged with Anthony's murder and torture on Wednesday. He faces 1 additional count of assaulting a child, causing death. His bail was also set at $2 million. Barron has not yet entered a plea. Her arraignment was postponed to Monday. While Leva, who is being treated for a laceration in his upper chest, will be arraigned after he is medically cleared, according to the Los Angeles Times. Anthony died on June 21st after being found unresponsive a day earlier at his family's apartment. Barron initially told police he was injured in a fall, authorities say. An autopsy is not yet complete that would reveal the exact cause and manner of Anthony's death. Officials with the county's Department of Children and Family Services, which investigated 13 prior allegations of child abuse at the boy's residence between February 2013 and April 2016, How do you get called to investigate child abuse 13 fucking separate times and just, we never found anything? We never found anything, you know. There was reason enough to report it on 13 separate occasions, but every time they investigated, nothing. Just nothing. Anthony recently said he liked boys, according to DCFS Deputy Director Brandon Nichols. And Anthony's aunt said it would have been a brave move for him to come out as gay in his home, the newspaper reported. But when asked Wednesday if homophobia may have been a motivation in the boy's death, Los Angeles County Sheriff's Captain Chris Berger told reporters, "That has not come up in our investigation as motivation at this time, no." Sheriff McDonnell added, "We wouldn't discuss motive at this point in the investigation. Too early." Too early. I mean, it sounds like these parents were beating the shit out of their child on a fairly regular basis. So I don't know if him being gay, or at least saying he was gay, I don't know if that led to him being killed, but I got a strong inkling that it might have something to do with it. Maybe that's what pushed, slapping the kid around over the edge to let's beat him to death. Not that either of those is good, but I think the gay thing might have fucking tipped the needle, or whatever the hell the expression is. Nikki Harris is my favorite woman that lives in Gambrels, Maryland. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, sir. Sounds like you're trying to dox somebody. Mental note to edit that out. Mother just chimped out. Well, I was going to say that was maybe a little bit close to racism there, but Mexicans really aren't compared to chimps as far as I know. So I guess it wasn't. I deem your statement not racist. How would you go about convincing a family member that ghosts don't exist? I mean, if you got to convince them, I don't know. There's not much hope for that person, I feel like. TJ, will DFF reshoot the Elder Scrolls episode because the last one was such an unmitigated piece of frog shit? I think if you're someone who's not very familiar with the series, the episode is fine. If you're someone who's deeply into it, then that episode was probably a bit on the rudimentary side. But if you're someone looking for a crash course, I don't think it was bad in that regard. But yeah, I mean, the reason that episode, I think, came across a little underwhelming is because it wasn't really the episode that me and Scotty thought we were doing until like 2 hours before the episode. Like, we were supposed to do the Fast Food Wars episode that night, but the program we use for our calendar, it has all these idiosyncrasies that made Paul think that we had scheduled an Elder Scrolls episode for that night. And so we ended up doing it on short notice because it was his research night. So me and Scotty are both like, oh shit, because if we were doing an episode like that, normally we'd brush up on a little bit of Elder Scrolls beforehand and be like, okay, we got to act like we at least kind of know what the fuck is going on. But because it was kind of sprung on us last minute, it was like, oh shit, I don't know what we're going to do with this. So we just kind of sat back and let Paul talk, and I just, threw in a joke whenever I could think of one. So that might be why that episode was a little bit, I think, it wasn't as good as it could have been and should have been. But, whatever. No, there's no excuse for a shitty show. I don't really agree with you that it was shitty, but I think it was less than it should have been. TJ Scam Labs is cucking us. Also, fuck this woman. Yeah, the latest, some of the Scam Labs aren't coming in. It's shit. One guy said, can you either upload the full stream or stop streaming so goddamn early? No. I mean, one of the reasons I stream this late, other than the fact that it's my preferred time to be awake and doing things, one of the other reasons I do it is so I don't want too many people to see it. Because I want to just be able to cut it up. But you know what? In probably like 4 to 5 days, this thing will be up in its entirety. You know, just like after tonight, I'm going to be putting the last one up in its entirety. And when I do one, I put up the last one, you know, while I go and cut up that one. So, I mean, it's not like you'll have to never see this if you really want to. It'll be around. Trust me. Trust me. Love you, TJ. What are your thoughts on Stannis Baratheon, the rightful king? I want Tyrion to be king, so fuck you. This story is fucking mind-blowing. Not for the content of the story, but for the editorial perspective that it takes. The accused. Look at them. Look at their faces. Vulnerable women. I'll wait till that's off the screen. I want you to see this and take this in with me. Dun, dun, dun. The accused. Vulnerable women are routinely prosecuted and imprisoned for false rape claims in the UK. So, for lying about being raped, these vulnerable women who tried to destroy men's lives with lies are going to suffer legal repercussions for what they did? Good. In what universe is that not good? In the BuzzFeed universe, that's where. In the universe of Katie J.M. Baker and Jane fucking Bradley, who is an investigations correspondent, why don't you do me a favor and investigate why you're such a retard? The case against Rhiannon Brooker's ex-partner had fallen apart. Rhiannon had accused him of assaulting her numerous times over a 2-year period, but detectives had found discrepancies in her story after they arrested him, so prosecutors dropped the charges. I'll read that later. Instead, one afternoon in January 2012, police in Bristol, a city in southwest England, called the 28-year-old back to the station for another interview. Rhiannon thought that the purpose of the meeting was to bolster the case against her ex. Police were trying to make a case against her. Dun, dun, dun. What Rhiannon did not know as she answered the detective's questions was that she was now suspected of perverting the course of justice by fabricating her allegations. The crime carries a maximum sentence of life in prison. No one's talking about putting these bitches in prison for life. So quit with the hyperbole. No one's getting sentenced to life in prison for that. But, you know, a few years, you know, I mean, given the penalties for other crimes, I think that's fair. British authorities are supposed to exercise extreme caution when deciding whether to prosecute someone for lying about rape, especially if the person is vulnerable or if it's unclear whether the accusation was made maliciously. Rhiannon ticked many of those boxes. She told police she had an abusive childhood. I'm sorry. I understand that, you know, the things that happen in your past can affect who you are in the present, but I don't think that because your parents abused you, that means that you shouldn't be prosecuted for trying to destroy someone else's life. Whether you intended that to be malicious or not, it happened. So unless you have something wrong with you that amounts to mental illness that makes you incapable of understanding the ramifications of what you do, unless you have something tantamount to that, it's no excuse. I had a shitty childhood and I'm all fucked up inside, and that's why I tried to put an innocent man in jail. Oh, well, I hope you get some good counseling in prison right this way. Now, you know what? I'm usually pretty lenient on the whole prison thing. I'm not one of these, throw the book at him, lock him up and throw away the key. But you know what? Yeah, I think 6 months or a year to learn your lesson. Or maybe just hit them with a fucking life fucking up fine that takes like 5 or 6 years to recover from. I don't know. I don't know what the punitive measure should be, but there should be one. I'm certain of that much. I'm pretty sure that this bitch, Rhiannon, is not the victim here. I'm pretty sure that she is the victimizer. When you knowingly and willingly tell a lie with the intent of getting someone that you have a vendetta against thrown in jail for something they didn't do, when you set out with that intention, then fuck you. You deserve some kind of fucking punishment. And you're not the fucking victim in that equation. I don't care how sad your childhood was. You know what? In the context of your shitty childhood, yeah, you were the victim there. Your fucking parents were mean to you. They smacked you around. They did whatever they did. Okay, you were the victim there. But when you, as an adult, years later, decided to lie about being raped to fuck with somebody, to fuck with someone else's life, you are no longer the victim at that point. You are the fucking perpetrator. You're the victimizer. Seems pretty fucking patently goddamn obvious to me. I don't understand. That's pretty much my rant on that. My son Jagger and I are big fans of yours. I promised him that I'd ask you to maybe give him a birthday shout out today. He turns 6 years old on Monday. Take care. Don't let a fucking 6-year-old watch me. I mean, like, let him watch whatever you want in terms of like blood and shit. I don't care about that. Let them watch that. But don't contaminate their young minds with my cynical bullshit. More of what I'm saying is getting through than you think. Let him have his naive and innocent fucking childhood years before the crushing existential nihilism of the world smashes his soul into powder and then snorts it like fucking cocaine. But anyway, happy birthday, Jagger. Don't watch me. It's bad for you. More female privilege along with being able to assault a man without consequences. Well, thankfully, at least in the UK, there are consequences. There are fucking consequences for lying about rape in the UK. Good. 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 All right, let's take a look. I don't know. This is Paul Bagley. He says the deep state wants to remove Trump and place Christians in internment camps. Okay. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Pastor, do you remember the document, Internment Resettlement Operations, that came out maybe in 2013, 2014, which was a multi-100-page document that detailed, in very extensive detail, the transportation, the facilities, the type of religious practices that would be able to be participated in these camps and in these internment centers, and how they would transport them, how they would have the shackles on the train cars and on the buses and the railroad tracks. And you can still find it. I think it's like FM 3.39, Internment Resettlement Operations. And this is a plan that details whenever these calamities happen and they want to round up the people. It details exactly how that will happen, what will happen with those people, and then it even goes into talk about how pastors would be used. And Pastor Bailey,
remember, it's FM 3-39.40.
And you talked about this, Pastor Bailey, how you were approached to be part of this movement of pastors that would lead the civilians into the camps, and they wanted to know what you were preaching about. But in detail, it talks about in this document how certain beliefs in Christianity would not be allowed to be practiced because it would be too extreme.
So wait a minute. Wait a minute. This guy this guy he's interviewing right now was approached by the government and was told, like, all right, so listen, when the government takeover of the country that we already control happens, we want you to lead the sheeple into the internment camps where they can be re-educated into good comrades. And this was obviously made to you need tons of pastors and religious leaders to do this. So they must have approached tons of them across the fucking spectrum. And of all of them, only this guy, Paul Begley, only he had the fucking balls to come forward and tell people about this insidious offer from the United States government. Yep. Okay. Rock on. Let's see what low-budget Alex Jones has to say.
For everybody else in the camps, and I'm kind of getting off point here, but these plans are all in place. They've been on the books for years now. And I think what we're seeing is that the deep state is so worried
Crank
about
up the anger.
working against President Trump, working against the American people, that they're going to do anything they can to get Trump knocked off and delegitimized. But as soon as
you know why this guy will never have the Alex Jones following? One, not enough anger. You either have to be someone who's really angry, or you have to be someone who's like eerily calm, or has some sort of, you got to almost be like a character. This dude just looks like your everyday dude. His eyes are droopy as fuck. He doesn't have that Alex Jones charisma. You know, even though he's obviously, he's got a nice little background there. He's got some basic production shit going on. Baker Bagley 2020. Hell yeah. They got my vote. Doesn't have that Alex Jones fucking charisma, man. Anyway, let's hear what Bagley has to say. If he'll ever fucking talk.
They got everything in place, as Marcia just said, and as we've detailed extensively in the past, to make this happen. And it's a very real possibility, and it's right in front of our faces.
I do remember that document, Doug. I remember you guys actually covering that really extensively. I remember that. And it is about internment camps. And the word was internment. Mm-hmm. And the reason it caught my attention, and I believe you guys might have been the ones that broke this report, or at least made it really public, is because of the vision I had in 1994, where I literally was seeing Christians and patriots and veterans and conservatives who were at that time resisting, and they were blessing us.
Excuse me. So the Hagman report, it says, for the news that matters most. And in their news broadcast, they're bringing on a guy to talk about his visions. Like, is this Miss Cleo? Should I call now for fucking $3.99 a minute or whatever the fuck it was? This is a psychic fucking hotline. This guy is going to come on the fucking news and tell us about his vision. Oh, I had a vision. Yeah, I remember last night I was laying in bed. I had a vision too. I had a vision of fucking Scarlett Johansson rubbing honey on her butt cheeks and being like, TJ, lick me clean. Yeah, that was my vision. Ooh, it was a fucking, I think it was sent by Jesus. I think Jesus is telling me I needed to lick honey off Scarlett Johansson's ass. I think it was a vision from God. Oh.
And train cars and buses, exactly, to places they were calling internment camps, the exact word. And that's exactly the document you're talking about. It's about 5 years old. And now what are we hearing? We're hearing that word again. It's coming up more and more and more. Internment camps. They're referring to it a little bit with the border situation, but that's not really what this is about. This is a bigger picture. It is all about gearing up against Christians, against conservatives, against those that are standing for America, really just people who love America, love freedom. And the deep state has this plan. It's been in place quite a while. They've trained and
Man, these libtards, guy, they're always playing the fucking victim, am I right? It's fucking libtards. Never see a bunch of conservatives sitting around playing the victim. They're gonna put us in internment camps! They're gonna put us in internment camps, you guys! What? No one. Listen to me. Hey, conservative Christian fucktards out there in the world, listen up. I am about 150,000% sure that no one's coming to put you in the fucking internment camp, okay? What do you think the first thing Manson would do if he became the president? Like Marilyn Manson becomes president of the United States of America. I don't know. Free cocaine day. Every American household is sent a little baggie of cocaine so that they can all get on his level. Because he realizes before he can run the country, he must change the mindset of the country. He's going to have a, Coke for Americans initiative. It'll be something more cleverly named than that, but that's going to be the basic thing. And everyone's going to get addicted to cocaine. Productivity will shoot through the roof, but so will murders and property destruction. But a lot more shit will get done. We're going to become a much more high-strung society, and we're going to punch each other a lot more. But it's going to be fun, so don't worry about it. Manson for president, 2020. Remember that time you put a banana in your butt? Let me think. Banana in my butt. Okay. Grapefruit, eggplant, watermelon, pineapple. No, but banana's not ringing a bell. Banana's not ringing a bell. Sorry. Think you got the wrong guy. Make America coked again. Oh, God, one of these. Moral absolutes on atheism. Why do I do this to myself? Why do I do it? Only one bag? That's not enough. Please no celebs for president, even if it's celebs I like. Sure. I don't care. Whatever. It's done anyway.
Right now and say, here's how we settle debate questions. Give me an argument why I shouldn't shoot you.
Because it's against the law, and you'll probably go to jail. Have you seen Forensic Files? Don't shoot me.
He has two ways to go. I've got the gun right on it.
I mean, there's lots of different ways you could go. I mean, if you're close enough, maybe they go for the gun. Maybe they sprint away, Maybe they try, there's sand in the environment. They kick it up at your face, They try some razzle-dazzle shit. Throw off their coat to kind of hide where they are in your vision and jump one way or the other and hope you fucking, don't shoot where they are. I don't know. You could try to fucking appeal to all kinds of shit, Like, I got a family. I don't know. I mean, there's lots of things you could do. It's not just two things. There's lots of fucking things. You've got a very limited imagination, sir.
357 Magnum. I said, go ahead, make my day. He's either going to give me no argument and say, well, there aren't any moral absolutes, and if there are no moral absolutes, then it's perfectly all right to win a debate by shooting your opponent.
Why would the person with the gun trained on them say that? So the person with the gun even if the person with the gun trained on them doesn't believe in moral absolutes, they obviously would just lie. No one's going to say, like, well, ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, my life is meaningless, so go ahead and end it, I guess, if that's what you wish to do, good sir. No one's saying that at that point.
Really, I'm not playing games here. If there are no moral absolutes, then I can win the debate by eliminating you. Not just your thought, your body, and everything. You're gone. But if you say no, no.
I mean, historically, lots of debates have been settled in that exact way and feel the way you want to about that, but from a purely pragmatic standpoint, killing the person giving you trouble is usually a pretty good resolution to the conflict. I mean, you know, like I said, you don't have to like that. I don't have to like that. No one has to like that. But we have to acknowledge that that's just the fucking plain and simple truth of existence. That's why our society has to heap tons of penalty on the crime of murder, because otherwise, I mean, it's so easy. It's so tempting. This person has pissed me off. I feel they have betrayed me. They're continuing to cause me problems. Now would be a great time for them to not exist anymore. That's why we have the law, you know? That's why we have social institutions that are like, hey, let's not kill each other. You don't have to constantly tell people not to kill each other unless there's some sort of appeal to killing each other. And most people are not looking to kill each other because goddamn killing just gets my dick hard. Usually it's just a matter of convenience. Like, you know what would solve all these problems? If that useless son of a bitch was fucking dead. So it's a practical concern for a lot of fucking people. That's why it has to be hammered into our heads so much. Like, hey, don't kill each other. Killing is the ultimate bad thing. Don't kill. Killing's wrong. If there was no appeal to it, you wouldn't have to tell people that. If people were just naturally like, murder, ew. You wouldn't have to tell them. Like, you don't have to raise people to be like, you know, don't eat cat shit. I mean, maybe a little kid will eat cat shit a couple times, but eventually they're going to learn. Cat shit no good. Very few adults go around eating cat shit. You know, they don't have to be told constantly. We don't have to have massive penalties in fines against eating cat shit. I guess it's harmless anyway. At least to everybody else but yourself. But you see the point. So, you know, the point I'm trying to make is whatever moral judgment you make about shooting someone in the head to end a conflict with them, at the end of the day, it's an effective solution, especially if you live in a society that was like, you know, before modern law.
No. It's wrong for you to try to win a debate by shooting your opponent, Dr. Bonson. Murder is immoral. Then he's going to have to tell me there's more to this universe than just matter in motion, isn't he?
No. I mean, like, your hypothetical situationist argument is so fucked up. It's like, imagine that you were under tremendous emotional strain and your life was in the balance, and you're literally, your continued existence depends on you coming around to my position. Would you come around to my position then? Well, yeah, dipshit, you got a gun trained on me. Yeah, I guarantee you, if I put a gun to your head and said, all you got to do is say there's no God, and I won't shoot you, you're going to be like, God is a lie! God is a lie! Because you know Jesus will forgive you later on, if you even really believe in him in the fucking first place. And, you know, by the way, that story about the Columbine girl who, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold pulled out a gun and they're like, we will shoot you unless you renounce God. And she refused, and they wrote a book about it, and her parents went on speaking tours. Yeah, that story never actually happened. So don't bother bringing that horse shit up.
He's going to have to appeal to something beyond the material cosmos. Ultimately, he would have to appeal to the personal God of creation. But for our argument here, he's got to go somewhere beyond the physical world to get a moral absolute by which to condemn me in shooting him or trying to shoot him to win the debate. So you see how he's put on the horns of a dilemma? And every atheist you talk to is on the horns of that very dilemma.
No, I'm not on the horns of that dilemma. There's no psychopath pointing a gun at me saying, agree with my position or fucking else. Yeah, I mean, like, when it comes to you pointing a gun at me and me saying, oh shit, it's not the moral code against killing that's motivating me and my decisions at that moment. It's the fact that I don't want to be imminently killed by somebody. That's what's motivating anything coming out of my mouth at that point. The desire not to be shot. The overall concept of morality in terms of murder is not even on my fucking mind. Unless I'm just trying to think about it so I can figure out what you want me to say so I can tell you what you want to hear.
When I had a dialogue with George Smith, who is another published and very well-known atheist on the Jon Stewart show, Mr. Smith came into that dialogue and wanted to make the point that we should live by reason, not by faith. Well, you already know from my lecture that I had him trumped on that because my argument is if you don't have faith, there's no place for reason at all. But more important...
Classic argument, dude. Classic argument. Classic cough. If you don't have faith, there's not even any place for reason. Because reason, it goes in a closet in the faith room. And if you ain't got the room, you can't have the closet. And if you don't have the closet, you can't have the reason. So, something that's totally antithetical to reason is necessary for reason. Sounds reasonable. What? I mean, what is this guy smoking? This guy has been allowed on television. This guy has been allowed on TV to debate atheists. Okay.
Importantly, at the beginning, when he was talking about how we have to follow reason and all that, I responded by saying, I agree with you, George. I think we're supposed to follow reason. I know why, as a Christian, I tell people to be reasonable. I don't know why you do. You know, and it was kind of like blink, 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 what?
Yeah, it was like blink, 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 what? Because that's stupid. It wasn't like you were laying some next level brilliance on him and he was like, oh shit, what? Oh shit, you've defeated me. He was going blink, 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 what? Because he was flabbergasted by how fucking ridiculous that sounds.
Come again? I said, how can you as an atheist tell people that they ought, hear that word, ought to be reasonable? In an atheist universe, people should be able to do anything they want.
And they can. I mean, within the boundaries of the laws of physics, people can do anything they want. I could fucking go outside and get in my car and drive it into every mailbox in the neighborhood if I wanted to. Now, would I suffer consequences for that? Yes, but I could do it if I wanted to. Like, any sort of behavior is available to me as long as it's physically possible. Like, I can't sprout wings and fly away. But I could, like, I don't know, I could stomp on a fucking cat. I could decide I'm going to quit YouTube and become a tax attorney and devote all my attention to that. Like, there's any number of fucking things. Good, bad, whatever label you want to slap on them that I could do. The full range of human behavior is available to me. The only thing that's stopping it is not God going like, hey, don't do that. The only thing that's stopping certain behaviors is a lack of inclination to do them or a lack of desire to deal with the potential consequences of them. But none of that is a God-given barrier. That's just shit that man put in place. Right? Right. So what, with all due respect, which is none, what are you talking about? What are you fucking telling me here?
The atheist cannot give a basis for moral absolutes. And that isn't just a way of showing that atheists have got to allow...
Okay, look, atheists that have moral absolutes, they can justify that shit themselves. When it comes to me, you're right. I can't justify moral absolutes, so I don't. I can't, so I don't. What's the problem? Where's the logical inconsistency there? If there's no God, honestly, even if there was a God, why would his moral code be objectively true? I've never understood why God's opinion would somehow be fact. Like, the laws of physics in the universe are, if you try to do something against the laws of physics, it won't work because you cannot break the laws of physics. So if anything, if you want to ascribe a God to the universe, those are his rules. The rules that you literally cannot break them. God that says, hey, don't have gay butt sex. Well, you're still perfectly physically capable of having gay butt sex. So why didn't he stop that? Why didn't he make that against the laws of nature? Like, why didn't he make it, if a male penis tries to go near a male asshole, then they just repel each other like two fucking magnets, when their polarities are fucking reversed or the same or whatever the fuck makes them repel each other. Like, that could just be a law of nature, right? God didn't do that. All of the rules that you're talking about, even within a universe where there is a God, are still just created by man. Because when God makes a rule, it's unfucking breakable. But even if God was of the opinion, like, I don't like butt sex, I don't like it, for some reason I'll let it continue, but I don't like it, and people who do it are going to get punished. Well, they don't get punished in any sort of way that we can actually see. They just go to hell after they die. So, I don't know. It's not actually stopping them from doing it. It seems like laws and the rules of society are determined by the society and by the state, not by God. That's every indication I fucking see.
For sexual perversion, abortion, and murder, and all the rest. That's also a way of showing that the atheist can't even do academic work. And this may come as a surprise to some of you. I'm keeping a file of clippings on this, but repeatedly we are finding in the university setting falsification of lab reports for the sake of getting funding to do work. We see people, not just for money, by the way, but also for fame, falsifying results to make themselves out to be the first one to have discovered a certain connection or something like that. And it's incredible, and it's very embarrassing. Because you see, the university system, in all of the departments. But let me just begin with.
Okay. So, is there a problem with falsification in science? Yeah. To what extent that problem exists, I don't know. I don't work in that field. But I've read enough, and I have enough friends who are scientists to know that there's some inkling of truth to that. But there are so many checks and balances in science. Like, results are replicated and replicated and replicated and replicated and replicated over and over and over again by labs all over the place. So yeah, sometimes someone finds something in a study that can never be replicated and people realize, oh, that's junk science. We can't replicate the results. It's bullshit. And it might take them a while to find that, but it will be found. What process does the Bible have to weed out the errors? And you can't say there aren't any, because the thing is rife with contradictions, and the thing is rife with morality that you don't follow today. You don't kill gay people when you see them. You mix fabrics. You eat shellfish. You wear polyester. I already said the mixed fabrics, whatever. You don't care if the food you eat came from a farmer that plants different kinds of plants in the same field. You don't give a shit. So, science has a process of litmus tests. Like, everything has to pass the bullshit test, which means if one person did a study that discovered something, then other people repeating that study should see the same or similar results. And if they don't, that means, oh, hey, shit, this person snuck a shady study bias. And all of this shit has to be peer-reviewed. So there's a huge, verification, falsification fucking process going on in science. Does Christianity have anything similar to weed out its problems? No. The nearest thing it's got is it just reacts to the whims of the populace. And by the way, it keeps splitting off into yet more fucking divisions. Like, ooh, we think we disagree on this one tenet. Oh, we need to be two separate religions now. Christianity is not one big monolithic religion. It's a bunch of little fucking religions. A few of them are big on their own. But tons of different fucking sects, tons of different beliefs, tons of different ideas about what the objective morality of God is.
With the sciences. All of the research and laboratory work that is done in the hard sciences assumes the honesty of the researcher. Have you ever thought about that?
No, it doesn't. That's the opposite. It does not assume the honesty of the researcher. If it just assumed the honesty of the researcher, why would every paper have to be peer-reviewed before it gets published in a scientific publication? Why would the results of their test need to be replicated by other people? It specifically built in a shit ton of mechanisms because it doesn't just assume that the researcher is honest. What the fuck are you talking about?
It assumes that you're going to make an accurate report of what you found out from the white rats the next day when you went back. But if you start changing the statistics to make it look like your hypothesis really was true, who's going to come along and do the months and months of research to find out that you were lying? And so you see,
if your results were important, someone will. At some point, someone is going to do it. Or someone's going to try to develop technologies or procedures based on what you said, and they're not going to work, and people are going to be like, hey, why isn't this working? This study confirms that this is happening. And by the way, any fucking person who's going to do research and development for a major corporation or something like that, for any sort of technology or medicine or anything based on that scientific research, is probably going to redo the test to make sure that the results were accurate. So research and development reasons that you'd redo it, just trying to confirm an important discovery in your field might compel you to do it. There's lots of reasons that might compel you to try to replicate their results to make sure that they're verifiable. This is just dishonest bullshit. Every word out of your mouth since you started talking has been dishonest bullshit. This is a guy named Greg Bonson, by the way. What the fuck is this?
Because most people are unprincipled pagans in the university today, the university is more and more coming up against this embarrassing situation. We're finding out people are fudging on their lab reports, to put it very simply. But now, if you were an atheist, you should say, so what? It's different strokes for different folks. This is how I, get my money. This is how I get my fame. This is what makes me happy. Chill out. Bug
Yeah, but the problem is, once again, there are social reasons why you wouldn't do that. If you fucking publish this study that gets you fame and prestige and shit, and then other people find out that your study is bullshit, that fame and prestige is going to translate to disgrace and humiliation pretty fucking quick. So you might ride high on the hog for a little while. By the way, how many scientists are really famous in America? Like, not many. I mean, we got a few. We always have a handful of, like, here's the really, really, really smart people. But for the most part, there's not a whole lot of famous scientists. You know, we have, like, a few token famous scientists. That's what we have here. So, like, this idea that all these scientists are out there scrambling for fame, you know, I mean, wouldn't they be hiring fucking press agents and shit, making sure that they're out there in the public eye? Did you hear about my latest research? I mean, most of the time when this research is reported on, the newspapers don't even bother telling you the names of the fucking scientists, and when they do, it's not like it's a fucking biographical piece about them. It's about whatever the research was, usually summarized poorly.
Off, get out of here. It's okay. The university's embarrassed by that. The embarrassment of the university, the embarrassment of the professor, the embarrassment of your roommate over the fact that scientists sometimes lie shows that they believe there are moral absolutes. Those moral absolutes have got to be assumed in every department, though. Let's go over to the English department. Let's say you've got an English teacher.
I mean, no. You could... Sorry, Mike, I don't want their reputations ruined. But you have motivation to not want them to lie because it might inconvenience you in the future. You know, if you affect society negatively, then those repercussions will probably be felt by me at some point. And a shoddy piece of research could potentially set society back, so don't do it. You know, there's fucking reasons, and you know, you don't want to read a fucking story in the newspaper or wherever, you know, that's, oh, a new study says this. Oh, cool. You know, you don't want to be lied to. No one wants to be lied to. People want the correct information. So there's selfish reasons why you wouldn't want someone to lie to you. And that's why you put a kibosh on lying to whatever extent you can actually do that, which is very little. I mean, people all over the place lie. I mean, you've told several lies during the course of this video, Greg Banson. So I don't know what you're talking about. Once again, I mean, there's no actual prohibitive force preventing you from lying. It's like what you're really talking about is how people should feel about stuff. What you're saying when you say you believe in an objective morality is there's an objective right way to feel about certain things. And I just have to ask, what are you basing that on? And I mean, I guess your answer is you're basing it on a fictional character that you devote worship to. And that's just a really strange answer.
Who's been promoting moral relativism in all of the literature that she gives to you and all of the class discussions and lectures. She's trying to point out that it's different strokes for different folks. And she wants you to imbibe that. She wants you to realize that everything is relative. There are no moral absolutes. Comes the day of the final exam, and she wants you to shine on this final exam. Boy, I'd cheat like mad. I mean, not really, but to play the devil's advocate here, I'd just cheat, you know, like a trooper. In fact, I'd make it real obvious. I wouldn't just kind of look over in somebody's paper. I'd walk right on over there and say,
well, then you would be caught. And plenty of people do cheat to pass tests, you know? There's lots of sophisticated ways that people cheat all the time. I mean, professional sports teams cheat. You know, people buy fucking subscribers and shit on YouTube to cheat. I mean, there's lots of different ways people cheat. And once again, we're not talking about, I mean, there's nothing, people can cheat. They can do it. They have to be sly, because if they do it like what you're saying and just brazenly do it, They're going to get caught. They don't want to get caught. You know, maybe they do want to get caught, you know, but that's just their idiosyncrasy. Yeah, I don't know what you're fucking talking about, dude. It's just like you keep talking about how people should feel about things. What you're really saying is not it's objectively immoral to cheat. What you're really saying is everyone should feel that it's immoral to cheat. But people don't feel that way. Lots and lots of people feel like it's okay to cheat, and they do. And they fucking do. And you saying you shouldn't do that ain't stopping them. And you saying God said don't do that, that ain't stopping them either.
What's the answer to number 12? Thanks a lot. Come back. What do you think your teacher would do who's been teaching you moral relativism? Teacher would come back and say, what do you think you're doing, Greg? Say, well, I didn't know the answer to number 12, so I wouldn't ask her. Does it look right to you? No. Just say, you're supposed to do your own work. I'm going to have to, disqualify this exam. You're going to fail the class. Do you think I'm going to move in for the kill? You hypocrite. You taught us all semester that there are no moral absolutes. Who are you to condemn me?
Why does a moral have to be absolute in order to condemn someone? Everyone has their own fucking personal fucking morality. Everyone does. Everyone has their own set of things that they think are okay and their set of things they think are bad. Now, there's some really twisted people out there that think, like, murdering people is okay. Rejecting me because I'm an ugly fuck is not okay. You know, so there's lots of people with twisted morals out there. But you know what? They go out there into the world and pragmatically they live by those rules. They live by the fucking rules in their brains. And you can't stop it. If there was a true moral absolute, they physically wouldn't be capable of doing the things that are wrong. It would be just as ironclad as the laws of physics. If this was rules given to us by God. This is not even rules. This is just you saying anyone who doesn't agree with my moral sentiments does not believe in this golden concept called absolute morality or moral absolutes. I don't know. I think I've said everything that could possibly be said about this. I think I'm out of things to say about this video. Doesn't make a lick of sense to me. Best of luck to you, Greg Banson. Hope you continue to scam gullible retards laughing in your audience. Oh, this is a big one. Maybe I'll take a little break, go get something to drink. I'll be right back, and we'll look at some Ben Shapiro. It's going to be good. Stay tuned. All right. This has 1.1 million views. It is called Ben Shapiro, Follow These 10 Rules When Debating Leftists. It was published on May 10th, 2017, so I'm getting to it quite late. But this is a video that several people recommended that I watch. So I'm going to do so. Without further ado, take a look. I'm going to play it at double speed because it's quite long.
So here are the 10 rules. The first rule is you have to hit first. You have to
All right, he talks too fast for that, so I'm going to do that one.
walk toward the fire. So this is something I learned from my mentor, Andrew Breitbart. And the idea is that you can't avoid the battle. You can try and be nice. You can try and run away from the battle. But the reality is that you are going to become a centerpiece. If you decide to go into politics at all, even to discuss it, you are going to be the focal point in a battle. So just walk toward the fire, embrace it. It's fun. Believe it or not, it's fun. It actually is. Like, even though, there's the occasional death threat, and by occasional I mean constant, but it actually is a lot of fun to do this. I have a lot of fun doing it. If you're not having fun doing it, you're not doing it right. Right? And you can tell, by the way, with political candidates, the ones who have fun on the campaign trail tend to be the ones who are successful. People like to watch people who are having fun engaging in the battle. This is the happy warrior kind of idea. Walk toward the fire, embrace it. It's going to get ugly, but that's okay because you know how to punch. Okay, the second rule is...
Okay, so the first rule is just charge in headlong into the political fucking battle and... just keep that faith and confidence in yourself up and have fun and go out there swinging and just kick their fucking liberal ass. Whatever. I mean, I don't think that's a rule. I don't think every fucking person's style is suited to going out swinging and looking for the big haymaker. But, if you got that type of personality, it's a decent way to debate. Overwhelm your opponent to just fucking being on the constant offensive. It's a decent enough tactic. I really don't have anything against it. Too fast for your leftist brain. Goddamn slow-witted son of a bitch. All right. I guess I'll turn it to regular speed, even though it's going to take fucking forever now.
You need to frame your opponent. So, as I mentioned, the chief tactic of the left is that you're not a good person, right? It's unearned moral superiority. Leftists don't do anything for the world, okay? Leftism doesn't do anything for the world. Leftism is a philosophy of stealing and taking and voting for people to put a gun to somebody else's head to take crap from you for their own personal betterment, right? That's what leftism is. Socialism is the most selfish philosophy in human history. It's the basic notion that I'm breathing and therefore you owe me crap, okay?
What? I mean, like... isn't socialism about like, hey, we all live in a cooperative society together, so let's all try to take care of each other? It's not someone going to you, Ben Shapiro, putting a gun at you, be like, give me your fucking stuff, bitch. It's about, hey, we all live in a cooperative society, so let's try to make that society nice and make sure everyone's taken care of. You know, that's what socialism is. I mean, you can be against that, but don't fucking straw man it.
And so
I mean, that's just like, that's like a Janine Garofalo summation of what a Republican is, you know? Like, okay, so a Republican is just someone who's like, guys, check it out. I'm totally an evil fucking psychopath who only cares about myself and would just smash a homeless person on the face in the face with a rock and feel nothing. And that's basically like what conservatism is. I mean, you're on that level of fucking bullshit, dude. When you fucking trot out that definition of socialism. Just fucking silly.
So, but the way they sleep at night, because they're not adding anything to the general productivity with this philosophy, is, but yes, I'm a better person than you. So your job is to rip away that facade, because they're not. They believe in a really terrible philosophy. So you have to frame your opponent.
I don't give a flying fuck if I'm a better person than you. I don't even think that concept matters. Of course, I think I'm a better person than you, just like you think you're a better person than me. But that's just because we're egotistical fucks who are in love with the sound of our own voices. So, but like objectively, like outside of ourselves, I don't think there's any metric by which you can measure that. Like, I'm better or you're better because you did this stuff and I did this stuff or whatever the fuck. I stuck a banana up my ass, so I'm a pervert, so you're better. Oh, he stuck a banana up his ass. He's more like, you know, weird and freaky and out there, so he's cooler. Like, all this stuff could be appraised in so many different fucking ways. I don't give a shit about being better than you. So this idea that, like, I mean, the portrait he's painted of liberals so far is their entire philosophy is about gimme, 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 going out to poor Ben Shapiro and trying to take money out of his pocket so that they can buy fucking free stuff. Like, I think I deserve a free iPhone on you, Ben Shapiro, because I exist. You know? And then, whatever. Fuck.
Right, so most famously, I did this probably
If I keep ranting like that, we're never going to get through 21 fucking minutes of this shit.
in the Piers Morgan interview. I've done it many times, but I don't know how many of you have seen this interview. I did with Piers Morgan. It's now about 3 years ago on CNN. Right after Sandy Hook. It was an interview on gun control. It tells you that it's been a while because Piers Morgan hasn't been on TV for a while.
Piers Morgan's career is not doing well, therefore I have won. Oh, you clever fuck.
It's like this. And we started the debate, and he wanted to try to explain to me why gun control was a wonderful thing. And before he could even start, he had been spending days, weeks, proclaiming that anybody who didn't believe in his brand of gun control, anyone who didn't believe in his particular notion of what we ought to do with gun law, that person didn't care enough about the dead children in Sandy Hook. So he started off the interview by saying, you know, Mr. Shapiro, you've called me a bully. Why? And I said, because you are a bully and you stand on the graves of the children of Sandy Hook in order to push your political agenda. And he had nothing to say to that because it was true. And he
had nothing to say to that? I mean, if I was in his position, I'd just be like, no, I'm pushing for political reform that would have prevented those kids from getting killed. So, yeah, that's what politics is. It's advocating solutions to problems, right? In its purest form, that's what politics is and should be. So, fuck you. You know, kids getting shot, I don't know if you've noticed, but that's an issue in America. So I don't hear you coming up with any good solutions. So here's my fucking solution. Unless you got something better, get on board or shut the fuck up. That's what I'd have said if I was Pierce Morgan. I don't know. Maybe Pierce Morgan wasn't smart enough to say that and just stood there dumbfounded. But that's what I'd have said.
Kind of clutched his pearls and said, "How dare you?" And I said, "Right, but I watch your show. It's true." And he said, "Again, how dare you?" And I said, "Again, I watch your..."
Oh, we know. So now we know who the one Pierce Morgan viewer was. It was Ben Shapiro, dude.
Your show. It's true. By framing my opponent, he could no longer put himself in this higher moral category. There was no way for him to portray himself as the figure on the rock preaching the gospel to people. He couldn't do that anymore. I had taken that away from him. The high moral ground no longer belonged to him. And you have to do this with folks on the left. You can't accept their premise. You have to frame your opponent. This is because, unfortunately, people on the right, we like to argue in terms of policies and in terms of information. Folks on the left like to argue in terms of character.
Okay, really? Because so far you've given two of your rules and they've both been about character. And like you didn't come out and say, look, in rule number 1, stick to policy, because that's how us Republicans argue. I mean, you just fucking got through talking about how rule number 2 is reframe the argument, reframe the person you're arguing with. That's pure character assassination. You can't advocate for that and then turn around at the end of it and say, and you got to do it because that's how Democrats argue. No, that's how you argue. You're advocating for arguing like that. That's what this video is. So, dumb.
Right, folks on the left love this. This is why Hillary Clinton's entire argument against people on the right is that they're terrible human beings who want to hurt folks, right? This is Hillary's argument. This is Bernie Sanders' argument. Right? Bernie Sanders has no intelligence.
They're terrible human beings who just want to hurt people. That's what they're like. Where have I heard that before? Oh yeah, that was also your description of what socialists are. So, once again, just the blatant hypocrisy of Ben Shapiro. When he describes socialists, oh, they're all evil fucks and they just want to hurt people. And then when he's talking about Democrats, he's like, oh, you know, these Democrats, you know how they view us Republicans? They just think we're all evil fucks that want to hurt people. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's almost like you motherfuckers are the same. It's almost like you motherfuckers are two sides of the same goddamn coin. I don't know how many times that argument has to be made before you stupid half-wits fucking see it. But it's fucking true.
Intelligible argument. I'm not even sure he speaks an intelligible language. But what he does say is that everybody who opposes him is a bad person who doesn't care about the poor enough. While playing the air bongos. If you were debating Bernie Sanders, for example, the first thing that you would say to Bernie Sanders is, Bernie, you like to sit on your high horse and talk about how much people ought to give, what is their fair share. Why is it that you honeymooned in the USSR while it was literally shipping people off to gulags and then killing them? Why is it that you were so okay with the Sandinistas in Nicaragua and you actually made Burlington, Vermont, a sister city to the capital of Nicaragua, in the middle of a time when leftist tyrants were murdering people in the streets? Why is that okay with you? What's wrong with you as a human being?
And you know what Bernie Sanders would do? He would dedicate like one sentence to that, and then he would do the thing that you're constantly talking about doing. He would talk about facts and figures and numbers and the shit that he actually wants to do policy-wise. You know, that thing that you claimed that you do while advocating for the exact opposite of that. Okay? You're dog shit.
Put him on the defense. You have to frame him as a person, right? Because now he knows. He's on notice. It's mutually assured destruction. If he's going to bring a character attack, you're going to bring a character attack, and yours is based on fact while his isn't. So you have to frame your opponent. Rule number 3, you have to frame the debate. So what the left likes to do is argue the debate in their terms. And they have all sorts of tricks for this. So, for example, on same-sex marriage, the way they frame the debate is always, why do you want to stop two people who love each other from marrying each other? This is always the way that they discuss this issue, right? That's always the question. And the answer to that isn't, well, I do want to stop those people from marrying each other. The answer is, why do you think a child does not deserve a mother and a father? Or you have to change the terms of the debate, because they're actually two separate questions.
No. I mean, what the fuck are you talking about? there's plenty of kids in heterosexual society that don't have a mother or don't have a father. There's lots of kids being raised by one parent, or they're being raised by their grandparents, or they're being raised by their aunt, or they're being raised by their mother and their aunt, or some combination of fucking family and support network and all that shit. There's all kinds of different paradigms that exist in America raising kids. And you know what? Two gay dudes are about the least likely to be having a kid together. Lesbians, too, for that matter. Like, wasn't one of the original conservative arguments against gay marriage, gays can't even procreate, you know? They can't even procreate. So, you know, obviously what? And now it's like, oh, well, you don't think a child deserves a mother and a father? You don't think a child deserves a mother and a father? You don't think that's a dishonest question? You're answering a question with a question, which usually that's a trademark of dishonesty. No, you can ask the question, why can't two gay people be in love, or whatever the fuck? Why can't two gay people in love get married? If I ask you that, you know, you can't just respond with another question. You actually have to answer that question. Then you can ask your question about, do I think a child deserves a mother and a father? To which I would say, what the fuck does deserve have to do with anything? It's like the scene in Unforgiven where Lil Bill is like, I don't deserve this. And William Money is like, deserve's got nothing to do with it. Boom! You're fucking dead. The thing is that you can't, there's nothing we could possibly do that guarantees every child in America a father and a mother. All you have to do to allow those gay people to get married is not prohibit it actively. So the question I'm posing to you is one that has a simple answer. The question you're posing back to me is one that has a very complicated answer, and there's no actual solution on the table for it. So, once again, fuck you. Your argument is dog shit.
And the second one is significantly more important, because personally, I don't care about what two people want to do with their lives. That's their problem. I may think it's sinful, but welcome to America, where I can think something's a sin and you don't have to agree. The problem that I have is when you're suggesting that government ought to value certain relationships above others when those relationships are specifically about the bearing and rearing of children. Right? So
Wait, so you're saying you're against gay marriage because you don't want the government to hold some relationships up above others? You don't see the problem with that reasoning? Okay.
You have to reframe the debate. You have to find the actual reality of the debate, not the happy.
No, that's not the example you gave. The actual reality of the debate is not bringing up a totally unrelated fucking subject. That's a whole other debate. You're not reframing the debate at that point. You're just changing what the debate is. So it's like your advice, your third rule is basically take whatever is actually being discussed and change the topic to something else where you think you have a better chance of winning. I mean, maybe that would work on Pierce Morgan, but that would not work on anyone with a brain. They would call you on it immediately. They would say, what the fuck are you talking about? That's not what we're discussing here.
Happy talk, not the happy emotional talk of the left. What is the debate actually about? Okay, the fourth point here, you need to spot inconsistencies in the left's argument. This takes research. You actually have to know the left's arguments better than they do. So I'm sure that a large number of college students here go to college campuses that orient to the left, that are very much to the left. Good. This will make you a better weapon. Really, I went to UCLA, I went to Harvard Law. I can argue the left side of the position pretty much as well as any leftist. And I'm talking about high-level leftists, because...
Well, you're not... maybe you should just become a leftist then, because you're not too good at the conservative position. I mean, I guess you are. There's a lot of retards eating this shit up, but wow. I mean, it's dog shit, dude. I hate to be the first one to tell you this, Ben Shapiro, but you're kind of a stupid twat. I don't know what to say.
If you spend time learning their arguments and then learning to counter those arguments, you're never surprised. And it turns out that the vast majority of people on the left...
I mean, The fourth rule is like, try to spot inconsistencies with your opponent's position. Like, no shit. That's what an argument fucking is. Your rule number 4 to arguing with liberals, or I'm sorry, debating leftists, is to debate them. Oh. Okay.
Left are wildly inconsistent, internally inconsistent about their arguments. Because the truth is that if they told you what they really believed, everyone hates that. Right?
Oh, if they told you the straw man that I've concocted, whoo-hoo-hoo.
What the left actually believes deep down is so reprehensible and so repugnant and so gross that they will never say it out loud. Instead, they cover it in a sort of patter that's completely inconsistent. So, to give a gun example, one of the things you'll hear from the left about guns is that assault weapons bans are the greatest idea in the world.
That's not just supported by liberals. That's supported by a majority of Americans. Even a Fox News poll showed that. Oops.
Which makes no sense, right? The vast majority of murders that are committed with guns are committed with handguns. Why don't they want to ban handguns? The answer is, well, this is true also. There's no such thing as an assault weapon. But the internal inconsistency in their argument, is that they say assault weapons are bad because they kill lots of people. The truth is that handguns are used in far more murders than so-called assault weapons.
All right, you've done it, Ben Shapiro. You've convinced me we need to ban handguns, dude. Thank you. You were right. You do argue the left's position better than they do. Thank you for pushing me further to the left.
So why don't they want to ban handguns? Okay, now the reality is they do want to ban handguns.
Cool.
But when you get them to admit that, it makes them uncomfortable because no one actually wants to ban handguns.
Did I seem uncomfortable when I said that just now? No, I didn't.
In the United States, except for like 5 people, and they're all in the Obama administration.
Well, I'm not running for office. I don't have to win no fucking election, dude. I could say I want to ban handguns all I want. Now, do I actually want to ban handguns? No. I don't even want to ban assault rifles. I just want there to be background checks. I just want it to be like all the roadblocks we can put between a crazy person and a gun. I feel like we should put those up. You know, I'm not naive. I know prohibition doesn't work, but a big bureaucratic fucking nightmare that seems to actually prevent people from getting stuff. Now, will the crazies still get a hold of guns? Yeah, but probably less often. So I think it's worth it. And I think the reason that we talk about banning assault weapons is because in all of these big mass shootings, it's usually assault weapons that are used. I'm sorry, assault weapons is a fake term, but the fucking high magazine, like, M16s and AK-47s and shit, the reason that those get talked about being banned is because they're often used in these mass homicides. Yeah, there might be more gun violence overall, but that's like saying that more people died of the flu in 2011 than died in the terror attacks. I mean, yeah, but the flu is like a part of life to people. The biggest terrorist event in history is not a part of life to people. Now, ultimately, from my perspective, which I think is the most logical, we should be more worried about the flu killing more people, but that's not how human psychology fucking works. Anyway, you're talking about guns.
So you can always spot that the left is filled with these sorts of inconsistencies, right? Even on global warming, they say, well, global warming, it's going to heat up the world and we're all going to die and the polar bears are going to drown. They won't be able to drink Coca-Cola anymore. It's going to be all sad.
That's not leftism. That's science. You've confused the leftism with science at this point. I'm pretty sure that the global temperature rising and the ice caps melting is not a matter of political opinion. It's an observable fucking fact of reality documented by science. So I don't know what you're talking about.
And don't you want to stop that? And then you say to them, well, but by your own scientific studies, isn't it true that you don't know what level of carbon emissions lead to a certain level of temperature increase? So given that, according to your own studies, we could...
I mean, look, we know that the more carbon that's in the atmosphere, more carbon, the carbon shit. We know that once that's up there and shit, we know that causes global warming, right? But we don't know how much it takes to really push us completely over the edge. So we might as well just keep doing as much as we want until we have that answer. What sense does that make? Like, that'd be like if you're drinking cyanide. It's like, yeah, I mean, cyanide is deadly, but you don't know how much it's going to take to actually kill me, so I'm going to keep drinking it. Like, you're a fucking retard. You don't believe the things you're saying, do you? Like, you're just a huckster trying to sucker right-wingers into giving you money, right? Like, this isn't honestly what you think, is it? You're just trying to be the stupid person's idea of a smart person to make a little cheddar, right? That's what's really going on here. Am I correct? I hope. I'm going to give you credit and say that that's what's going on. Man, how much more of this? Oh, my God. There's so much more.
Dramatically decrease the amount of carbon we're putting into the atmosphere, and will still increase the temperature. The amount of the temperature increase will still happen according to your own models because that carbon's already in the atmosphere. There's no way to stop that.
Yeah, but the more carbon you put in the atmosphere, the more the heat accelerates. So we should try to minimize that, maybe. I don't know. Seems reasonable to me. But I have no faith, so I am incapable of reason.
And they have no answer for that because it's internally inconsistent, because the real agenda for global warming is a giant economic leveling and taking down of Western economies in favor of less developed economies.
Yeah, it's not a common sense reaction to a scientific reality. It's just an evil plot to destroy the economy because that would be good for... Wait, no one.
Because essentially the people pushing this are economic Marxists. Okay, fifth point. You have to force the left to answer questions. You may notice that I'm slightly aggressive in my style.
I've noticed you're slightly retarded in your style. Maybe I would even say aggressively retarded. But no, I don't really think you're that aggressive. I mean, you're just a little Jewish guy. You know? I mean, like, aggression doesn't really factor into it for me. I'm sure I'll be called racist now. I had a Quagmire Tinder moment. Great stuff. Share the greatness with money. Okay, cool. Spread the love, I guess.
There's a reason for this. This is because if you're on the defensive, you're losing.
Okay.
I mean, there's no such thing as playing defense in politics. You're on the offensive all the time. You're forcing them to answer questions. The left loves nothing better than to just grill you as though you're a defendant on the stand. But the truth is, you don't have to defend yourself against their attacks. They need to defend themselves against your attacks.
Why? Why wouldn't they just do the same tactic you're doing of always being on the offense? Why would they actually sit around trying to entertain your questions? Oh, I'm sorry. Why am I asking you questions? You're not going to answer them.
So anytime you're asked a question, you should think, okay, how can I flip this so that I'm asking them a question, so I'm putting them on the defensive, right? Any of these inconsistencies is a good example of doing that. You can put them on the defensive and force them to answer questions. Leftists hate answering questions because...
Once again, he's saying leftists hate answering questions when he just got through talking about how he won't answer questions and instead he pivots to something else. Are you sure that you're not projecting a little bit, buddy? It sounds like so far every single thing you've attributed to leftists, you've exemplified literally seconds before you said it. Like, aren't you embarrassed by that? Oh, sorry, that's a question. You don't want to answer those.
It makes them think. And thinking is not their strong suit. Feeling is their strong suit. So if you get them away from feeling, which you did with the character argument at the beginning, and now they have to think, which is what you're trying to make them do now, they get all confused. And then they sort of start crying, and it gets all awkward.
And, you know, the liberal, they just, when you ask them the question, like, well, how come you, a Marxist, is trying to destroy America? And then the liberal, the leftist, they're just like, I can't think. Oh, I was asked a question. No, what am I gonna do? Yeah, I mean, how many times have we seen that? Oh, yeah. Never. I've seen Ben Shapiro debate people. I've never seen his opponents cry and be like, "Oh no, I am defeat." Ah!
And then you have to apologize because you ruined the dinner party, but it was fun anyway. Okay. The sixth point here is not getting distracted. So you'll notice when you're in debate with folks on the left, they always have a red herring. It's amazing. I've been giving
You've advocated throwing out red herrings on this list. That's what, you're just describing yourself. You are describing you right now. Is he aware he's doing it? Is he self-aware enough to realize he's describing himself? Are the 27,000 people who gave this a thumbs up aware enough to realize he's describing himself? Like, how do they not see the blatant contradictions in this guy's speech where he'll literally advocate for the right wing to do something and then accuse the left of doing it with his next breath? If they ask you a question, don't answer it. Just pivot to something else. Try to ask them a question because the left hates being asked questions, unlike us right-wingers who, when we get asked questions, pivot with other questions. It's like you want to play question hot potato because you're just as scared of questions as your opponents supposedly are. Quit being a fucking inconsistent retard. Maybe instead of gearing this list full of rules for how the left is flawed, maybe you should look at your own fucking self and try to solve some of these problems that you've identified in the left in yourself.
This particular speech I've been giving for probably 5 years at YAF, and they're still using the same red herring. They still use it, right? It's the only one that they have, right? So you're talking about Barack Obama's foreign policy is terrible. It's just terrible. The world's on fire. He's been feckless. He's incentivized all of America's enemies to become more powerful and more anti-American. People are dying all over the world because of President.
It's funny because now we have Trump, and I know Ben Shapiro is not the biggest Trump supporter. He's actually not really much of a Trump supporter at all. But now that we have Trump, our allies hate us as well as our enemies. So that's kind of cool. I'm glad that he's restored our prestige around the globe.
President Obama's foreign policies. And the first thing they do is they scream in agony and their head swivels full 360 degrees and they vomit in all directions and then they shout, "Bush." Right? Like Linda Blair from The Exorcist. Which is
Dude, I wish I could just cue a montage of him probably blaming everything wrong now on Obama. Obama. Yeah. Guess what? When the one party takes power, the opponents blame him for all the problems, and the people in power blame everything on the predecessor. Yeah, the people in power blame all the problems on the fucking predecessor. That's how it works. That's how it works on the left and the right. Quit trying to act like this is the left. Only they do that. The right does it too. Whatever.
Which is a reference that your parents will get, but you may not. So like Linda Blair from The Exorcist. So in any case, the proper answer is don't get distracted by George W. Bush, okay? First of all, he's not that distracting. Second of all, George W. Bush is not relevant to this conversation. Okay, he's not.
Once again, you earlier in this thing told your people listening to your rules for debating leftists that they should throw out something that's unrelated to what's actually being discussed. So once again, criticizing the left for something. Whatever. It's the same shit over and over again. This whole video follows a fucking easily definable pattern. Ben Shapiro comes out. He says something about how when you're dealing with the left, you gotta be a total asshole. And then the next words out of his mouth, and the reason you gotta do this is because the left are all assholes. And the next thing you gotta do is never answer a question because the left hates, the left never answers questions. It's like, he comes out, he says something that you're supposed to do to the left, and then he says it's the left doing it to him. And it's just the same thing over and over again. I've established it. I don't need to watch anymore. The end. It's garbage. Trump I don't care about this. Whatever. We'll watch one more video, and then we'll call it a night. Here we go. This is a nice short video. Say what you want about Jesse Lee Peterson, but at least he's quick. At least he fucking gets his point across, or his lack of point across, real lickety split, you know?
I want to read an email, but James changed my packets around, and now I can't find it. Oh,
of course,
here it
you can't
is.
understand his fucking slurred speech worth of shit, so I guess it doesn't matter.
No, that's not it. Let's go to the first email. Thank you, James. This is an email,
This dude needs fucking subtitles.
a Facebook comment from Jake.
Okay. Read it off right now?
Yes.
Okay, Jake LaFoy says, here's my thing. I agree with
Let that dude be the host. I can understand what he's saying.
most of what you say, Jesse, or most of what Jesse says, but this theory is hard for me to get, because we all know all
He
races...
said put the picture up.
Put the picture up. Here's some cash for food, smokes, or whatever. Love your content and looking forward to more. Thank you.
Or something.
Okay, let me finish reading this. I'll put the next one. Because we all know all races have specific people that hate others based on their race, and that's racist. But I assume he's saying usually what you're seeing isn't racism and just life?
Yes. And no one hate another person just because that person is black or white or Asian or Japanese or Mexican.
Mexican. So he's saying that no one hates another person just because of the color of their skin. Yeah, they do. I mean, I don't know what more to say to that except, yeah, they do. There are people that hate other people just because of the color of their skin and nothing else. So I guess I've defeated this already, but for the fucking sake, well, let's just check out the rest.
And
Why
you
not?
made a judgment of that person in that fallen state. See, people in a fallen state, they're always making decisions. They're always judging. They're always planning. They're always this and that. They're playing God. You can't help but do that. And then Satan and his children tell.
Done. All right, that one is useless. I mean, it's stupid enough to make fun of, but wow, there's no meat on that bone. That's just garbage. Well, I guess that's probably enough Abandon Hope for tonight. I'll see you fuckers later, and I'm going to go ahead and put the previous episode up when I conclude this here. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it.